Are you poring over every scene in Yellowjackets trying to figure out what the endgame is? Well, I did, and I've got you covered on the mysterious Antler Queen's identity, all of the clever foreshadowing leading up to Jackie's final moments, and Misty's cheeky little one-liners that actually share a lot more than you'd think. Let's talk about the Season 2 premiere. Jackie is still alive, sort of, in Shauna's mind. There's a lot to unpack up there, but unfortunately, there are no therapists in the spooky supernatural Canadian woods these girls are stuck in.
The whole group is very unhinged.
And instead of doing a psychology profile on Shauna and how she only slept with Jeff to essentially be Jackie, I'm gonna talk about the music that plays as the credits roll. It's very telling for what's to come. Every season, one song was meticulously picked by the music supervisors, Jen Malone and Whitney Piltzer, to either advance the plot or give us some major hints. This song, Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos, is no different. The song, specifically being about a distinct type of mutilation, is generally about girls who hurt other girls. There are cornflake girls and raisin girls. The cornflakes, which would be Shauna in this case, are the ones who hurt. Shauna is pretty pissed that Jackie, out of all people, ends up being a raisin girl. The girl's considered to be more precious and rare than the cornflakes. So it seems like the theme of Season 2 is going to be deciphering who in this group are the cornflakes. So I guess we'll have to see. Now, who is the cannibalistic Antler Queen? In case you're not familiar with who I'm referring to, I'm talking about the masked person wearing deer antlers in episode 1. Their identity is one of the show's biggest mysteries, and something the internet has gone into detective mode to find out. The possible Antler Queen for right now is definitely giving Taissa. Think about it. She's the one that's most likely to lead the group and the one who has shown the most animalistic tendencies so far. There was also this perfectly timed shot that seems to be hinting at her possible identity. What do you think? Are we all reaching? And speaking of our favorite, very suspicious queen, let's talk about her very creepy altars. There's a theory going around online that Taissa's altars have something to do with all of her achievements, as well as the fact that she can't seem to remember making them or how she specifically achieved these things. Her biggest achievement so far is her election win. We got a close look at her altar. I can't see that poor dog head in a few of the later episodes. All of this can sort of be traced back to a conversation she had with Shauna about how she feels disconnected from the experiences of achieving all of these major successes in her life.
Not a single one of those things felt real.
So, every single one of these things, getting accepted into university, landing a spot in a major film, and of course, her election win, could all be the result of those creepy altars. I mean, the argument is compelling, but I think I'd rather be below average in my field than put a dog's head in my basement. Just saying. Let's talk about Jackie, the end of Jackie, more specifically. There's a scene where she's tightly wrapped up with a blanket and ends up waking up later than everyone else and saying that she feels so cold. Yikes. This could also be a bit of a reach here, but it's also a reminder of when they first found the lake and when Jackie jumps in saying, "Oh, it's freezing." It's just creepy to think about, considering that's exactly how she passes, outside in the freezing cold. Still talking about Jackie, I'm not over it. There seems to be another moment where her tragic end was foreshadowed.
Thanks. It's freezing out there.
This time by Taissa. There's a moment where she's arguing with the rest of the group because she's trying to travel south to find help while the rest of the girls are averse to the plan. Taissa literally says to them,
"We're talking dying feels like falling asleep cold."
That's actually creepily acute to what happened to Jackie. It seems easy to dismiss at the time, but if you take all of these little clues, it's pretty clear the writers were trying to tell us what was going to happen to her right under our noses. After Van is attacked by wolves, she makes a comment about how she saw something. And from what I've learned about this show, there's not one line of dialogue or like any small movement that's not deliberate to the upcoming plot. This line was cause for an investigation by someone on Reddit where they noticed two moving shadows standing in between and around the rest of the girls as they were standing over Van. That's definitely odd. The shadows that were noticed in that scene also seem to be very similar to what Sammy draws and hangs up on his window. It definitely seems like something that hasn't been fleshed out yet, but I'm positive we're going to be seeing more about it throughout Season 2. Do you have any theories about it? This one was actually pretty heartbreaking to watch. Not like anything on this show is relatively easy on an emotional level. It was a little suspicious that Shauna was the one leading Jackie back into the cabin. But the moment you can safely start to assume that Jackie is having a vision is when Shauna says,
You're the best friend I've ever had.
And it's a major callback to right before the plane crash when Jackie says the same thing to Shauna.
You're the best friend I've ever had.
Though there's definitely a major debate on how great of friends they were to one another. But anyway, that is a huge indication that this scene isn't happening in real time, but in Jackie's mind as she drifts off into her final moments. We know Lottie has proven more than once that she sees things that others don't.
I'm not crazy.
One incident being Laura Lee's demise. It truly came as a shock to the group when her plane actually took off. But what was more surprising was the fact that it blew up, like in midair. One interesting sleuth pointed out that Lottie saw a vision of a fire and bright light in the sky right over Laura Lee's head. Though, yeah, that could be interpreted as more on the cryptic side. Lottie did mention pretty scary things like,
I had a dream last night. There was red smoke and a river of blood.
It seems like she's the one to pay a bit more attention to if you're looking for clues in the upcoming plot. You already know this is going to be about Taissa. When Simone and Taissa were in a much healthier, happier place in their relationship, Simone made a joke about Sammy's room.
It's like Dracula's crypt in there.
This was before she actually stumbled across Taissa's version of what could very well be considered a crypt. Like mother, like son, maybe? Either way, it's most definitely a cheeky little foreshadowing of what's about to come for Simone. Okay, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really love Misty. Is anyone with me on that? So, we all know how the investigator meets her end, but did anyone notice how long the shot was when her cigarettes were taken out of the trash can? If that wasn't enough, Misty also tells her that those things will be the end of her. Misty, being historically and maniacally malicious, couldn't help but give her a little warning that she was about to smoke some laced cigarettes. Obviously, super tragic for the investigator, but come on, you can't help but appreciate Misty's cheeky deviousness. Did you guys notice a friendship necklace that gets passed around the group? Apparently it goes from girl to girl, always ending up on the one girl who meets a tragic end. This is something that never got resolved in season 1. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the necklace ends up in season 2. And there's a super creepy line that Nat's dad says in her dream that also parallels a line said by the equally creepy cabin guy in Jackie's dying dream. The cabin guy welcomes Jackie by saying,
"We've been waiting for you."
Which, yeah, totally creepy on its own, but that's doubled by the fact that Nat's dad says to her,
"It's been waiting for us."
What is waiting? There is no way that this is a coincidence. Truly, what is actually coincidence in this show? It seems to be another clue about all of the supernatural forces that are at work in the forest. Again, what are your theories on this? Leave me every theory in the comment section, please and thanks. So did you catch all of those things when you first watched it, or did I just blow your mind? I really want to hear your theories on the Antler Queen, your thoughts on Jackie and Shauna's relationship, and if I'm not alone on my love for the devious Misty. And what's your favorite Yellowjackets moment?